beautiful people. Happy Sunday night. So here's what I decided. I decided that I am going to goof off a little and not work on the relapse things tonight. I'm going to share that story with you that I promised from yesterday. And I'm going to focus on the fact that we're allowed to take a break every once in a while. And I'm going to take a break. So here goes the story. I caught it on, I don't even know how I caught it, actually, if it was like a spin-off of Facebook or whatever. But the title is something like How Coronavirus Killed My Son. And there's a man speaking, and he talks through this story. And I want you I'm going to tell you the lens he told it, and then I'm going to tell you the lens of how I heard it. And you can form whatever opinion you want. My opinion is just that. It's not facts. But I have a different view, I think. So he tells us this story. His little boy is 12 years old, and he's an active, good boy, and has a little sister. And he's an active gamer, and he plays video games, Fortnite, I think, to be exact. And he ends up breaking a control or the TV or something. And I think it was in a fit of anger, if I remember correctly. So he broke it. And because he broke it, I don't want to say with intent, but it wasn't completely an accident. The parents decided they would make him, take a break from video gaming. And he'd have to, do extra chores and kind of earn his way to this new whatever it was that was broken. And the father talks about the light coming back in this little boy's life, and he's getting along better with his sister, and, it's good family time. Well, the little boy's birthday was coming up, and he was going to turn 13. And the father really tells the story from the lens of, what is it like to be a 12-year-old in quarantine and not be able to be with your friends and go to school and have the normal outlets. So he kept sharing about that. And the little boy's birthday was coming up, and he was saying how, he couldn't have a party and stuff. And there's this one particular day that the little boy comes and gives his dad a hug, and then goes upstairs. And all of a sudden, the sister is screaming for the father. So the father goes up, the little girl comes downstairs and tells the father, my brother hung himself. And the father shares with us, how really heroic the 8-year-old girl went and got neighbors, and the father was trying to resuscitate him and everything. And, the dad thinks it's because, he's not going to have a birthday party, and he's depressed. And that very well may be true. That was the sense of what I got from the way he told the story. And upon later discovery, they found out that something else was broken. And I don't know if it was his fault or not, but for his birthday, he was going to get another piece of gaming, a device or something to do with gaming. But if he got it, whatever was broken or wrong with the setup, it wouldn't have worked. So now the father thinks that the little boy killed himself because he thought he might get in trouble for whatever was broken or whatever. And I don't know if it's just that I'm so biased or educated. I guess it could go either way. But all I could hear from this story after sitting at a conference last year and understanding a little about what happens in the game of Fortnite with the competition for skins and, the bonuses that are designed as gambling. All I could hear in this story was that this little boy's personality was changing, and it was around gaming. And gaming that essentially has gambling components in it. And I could relate to, my behaviors and actions changing when I was gambling. They're different than when I have a clear mind. the way he described the little boy's behavior, it really did. It sounded like active addiction to me when he was playing, and active recovery to me when he was like doing the chores and how to refocus so that he can get back to gaming. Now, either way, it's a really sad story that this little boy's life was lost, whether from corona or from gaming. And I share this with you as a reminder. I've mentioned this before, but take a look around. Are there kids that are spending too much time on the TVs and gaming? Did it ramp up during corona? What is the aftermath going to look like? Is there balance? Are they getting outside now that the weather's breaking? Now, I'm not a parent. I'm just someone who's trying to pass information along as I consume it. And I just thought that it was important to call out this story. And, take a look at your kids. Are your kids acting different? Is it like an hour a day before bed, or is it they don't want to leave the game? Have you sat down and watched them play the game to see what happens, with these bonuses and how they have to pick things? Have they asked you for money for the game? So there's some definite tells. And if you didn't know to look for them, I just am letting you know it might not hurt to look for some of the signs. The father's story was devastating, and my heart broke listening to him. And I just wonder, could it be prevented? That's why we're having these conversations, whether it's a little child or it's an adult. I know someone, at least one person, who is a young adult, has been gaming. His little brother games, and the way I heard it third hand was that he was gaming so much, I believe he lost his house, and didn't want to go to work, and you just bury yourself in that make-believe life. And that's what I did as a gambler, and maybe you did too. So that's my call out. I'm not trying to put a bummy spin on the holiday weekend, but it's important that we're mindful of those things. And it is Memorial Day weekend, and I don't want to forget, to call out the vets and thank them for our service. I have been fortunate enough to know a lot of vets, and, I've never gotten in detailed stories, but the stories around the stories, I guess, there's one of my friends in Kansas. He keeps in touch with his war buddies, and, there's been some strong bonds created out of that. Never mind the fact that all these folks fought so that, we had our freedom to, have our opinions. And I guess I'm still a little jaded by yesterday's conversation in our group thread that I told you about. The opinions that get everybody in trouble when we argue. But nonetheless, the vets fought for that, and we should appreciate it. Okay, beautiful people. Bobby Awesome is going to chill out. I will chat with you guys in the morning.